May the forced uglification of female characters in video games be with you. Welcome back to Wars of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and I'm sure you guys have heard about this new upcoming Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws. I'm sure you've also heard that it is coming under massive laser fire for what they've done to the main actress and to the main character. Here's the model, here's the character, and people have a lot of opinions on it, your boy included. So we're gonna get into it. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I bring you nerdy news almost every day, and sometimes multiple videos a day. And yeah, I said I wasn't gonna cover any more Disney Star Wars stuff because Disney Star Wars to me is deader than Han Solo, but in this instance, I feel like I want to talk about it because it relates to the video game situation, the gamergate 2.0, everything we're seeing going on in the gaming space right now, and also, I don't objectively hate Disney Star Wars. I hate about 90% of it. I'm actually more than willing to give credit where credit's due on the rare instances that they do good things. You know, I liked the Jedi Fallen Order game. I've yet to play Jedi Survivor, but it comes from the Angry Badger on recommendation, and frankly, considering how much he loathes Disney Star Wars far more than me, and I didn't know that was possible, and him giving Jedi Survivor a positive rating gives me enough interest in it. I also really liked Star Wars Visions Season 1, the Chiss Ascendancy trilogy of books from Timothy Zahn. It's not all bad. But then you watch this trailer and I can't say it's bad per se, but it left me feeling nothing, feeling empty. Like I'm watching it and it looks gorgeous, it looks beautiful, minus this main character, of course, but there was no sense of wonder, there was no sense of excitement. It's just sort of left me feeling hollow, which is a damn shame because that goes to show when apathy sets in, that's when a franchise is truly doomed. But of course, we're here to talk about the actual game itself, the character model, and yeah. I mean, she's a fine looking gal, absolutely nothing wrong with her. You would not know that this is her when taking a look at it. Like if you look at this character model, what about these two individuals is even remotely the same? Like maybe some similar eyes? Maybe? That's about it. And yes, you can say, oh, this is an out-of-context picture, it's just a screenshot from the trailer. No, first of all, we can look at other photos if you want, but also, I watched the trailer, and at no point in the trailer does she look sexy. And I get, you're gonna make the argument, because I gotta call out my boy, actually, Andrew here, and I love Andrew. I've had him on the show, I've been on multiple streams with him. Andrew's a good dude. But I'm going to call him out right now because you got to call out your own side. You can call out people you agree with, people you're friends with. That's how you stay honest. That's how you stay intellectually and philosophically consistent. And he says that arguments against media that boil down to sex appeal of a character are meaningless. Now, hold on. I'm going to stop right there. Why is it meaningless? Well, why are arguments that boil down to how attractive female characters are, or characters in, not just female, characters in fiction in general, why is that meaningless? Because it is objectively agreed upon that the vast majority of humans prefer looking at other humans that are symmetrical, that are, that have a beautiful form to them. Doesn't matter if it's a male, doesn't matter if it's a female. So when you've got something that's been historically accurate throughout all of humanity, and then we see now an intentional uglification and defeminization of females in the video game industry, in the video game space, I wouldn't say that's meaningless at all, considering the vast majority of humans enjoy and want to look at that. Why have movie stars, male and female, throughout the history of Hollywood, and really the show business as a whole, been relatively good looking? Jensen Ackles in Supernatural has one of the most, it is scientifically proven, might add, one of the most symmetrical faces of any person that's ever been on TV. There's a reason that everyone loves to take a look at Jensen Ackles. There's a reason that people love Sandra Bullock, and the list goes on. At the end of the day, I would not say it's meaningless at all. In fact, it speaks to an ideology that we are seeing these women, these objectively good-looking women, like the individual I showed you in the previous post. There's a reason we see these women being uglified, being desexified, being most importantly of all, defeminized in these games, in these movies, whatever it may be. Yeah, I would say that's far from meaningless, considering it goes against our own biology. He says he grabbed an out-of-context frame of the character to prove she is ugly. If we did that with everyone, well, we'd all be hideous. But it's not an out-of-context frame. There have been stills of this character for a while now. We now have the trailer. There's no out of context. This is what she looks like, and she looks nothing like the model for the character. It looks like the actress looks nothing like the model for the character in the game. So I had some thoughts on this, because as you know, I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. It was probably my ultimate nerdy love growing up, besides Sonic the Hedgehog and Dragon Ball Z. Like those were little Leon's big three: Star Wars, Sonic the Hedgehog, Dragon Ball Z. And when you look at the past, when you look at the history of Star Wars, we got Bastila Shan, or Bastila Shan, who apparently I've been saying her name wrong my whole life, and Badger had to correct me the other day. Bastila Shan. We have Darth Talon. Darth Talon, like that's Look at that form. Let's be real. That's pretty sexy. We got John Orr, and of course Mara Jade Skywalker. So yeah, I had some thoughts on these individuals. Bastila Shan, Dark Talon, Jan Ors, Mara Jade Skywalker. Maybe it's John Ors. I only say her name written, so I apologize. Star Wars games, comics, books, and other extended media have never had an issue portraying women as beautiful and feminine while also making them strong. And that's where the vibe that I'm getting, and the vibe that everybody is getting from the new Disney era and from modern day video games in general. That if you're gonna have a strong female woman, then they need to immediately be masculine or less feminine. That's why there's the entire debate going on with Stellar Blade right now. That's why that everyone is lauding the game. They want to claim, oh, look at these people who just want to see a sexy woman. Don't get me wrong, that's a nice bonus, that's a nice plus, because as I mentioned earlier, people love looking at attractive individuals, male and female. But that being said, also, Star Wars never shied away from making women attractive and maintaining their strength. It's this weird, honestly, you could call Disney and you could call the modern day games industry sexist because they have this weird aversion to making beautiful women also be strong. Now tell me how any of that could be a good role model for a woman. If you're out there and you're trying to make the claim that we want to make, these games and these stories more accessible for women, yeah, women also like seeing attractive individuals. That's why we've seen them all throughout the history of Star Wars. Because if you want to make the claim, because I've heard individuals make this claim over and over, women have always loved Star Wars. Well, first of all, yeah, obviously there have been subsections of women that have, but the vast majority of the time, Star Wars has been a very male-dominated space, and understandably so. Not a whole lot of women care about laser gun fights in the dark reaches of the void of space, but it's not the same as reading like Little Women or Little House on the Prairie, or really, I guess, anything with the name Little in it now that I think about it. But the point is, this is a textbook example of Western game devs radically toning down the feminine form for modern day ideology. The argument is in good faith, the criticism is certainly valid, and there are mountains of evidence of modern day gaming to back this up. Because we are not just seeing this with Star Wars. We're not just seeing women getting uglified in Star Wars, as you all know, because you watch my channel, because you're intelligent and you know how to use your brain. You see this in games after game. It doesn't matter if it's in Horizon Zero Dawn, or it doesn't matter if it is in the upcoming Fable game. We see it over and over. And then we got this from Grums here. Oh, what is this? The Ubisoft community manager who posted DEI activism has deleted their Twitter account. Ubisoft? Why does that sound familiar? Oh, right! Because Ubisoft is the one working on this upcoming Star Wars game. Another DEI community manager virtue signals, this time for Ubisoft. I can tell you from internal sources that Ubisoft is one of the most chilling DEI police studios to work for. Nightmare for good devs just trying to make good games. Again, do not harass anyone, ask questions instead. But lo and behold, yeah, we got Shauna Jones here, pronouns in the bio, as pretty much required these days. Hashtag Star Wars Outlaws. Oh, well, that's not good. If you're a white dude complaining that diversity being raised is an issue, then people are going to keep raising the lack of diversity until we see change. The shit's got to change, man. Well, we have seen change. We've seen a lot of your forced diversity, your forced DEI inclusion efforts that nobody is asking for. In fact, that is completely disrespectful to all gamers everywhere of all walks of life, male, female, white, black, Asian, doesn't matter. And they have spoken in unison and rejected this ideology. But again, of course, you don't realize that. The reason you've deleted your account, the reason that you quit your Twitter is because you spent the last several years, looking at how this is back in 2020, you spent the last several years in an echo chamber. The entirety of X, then Twitter, was an echo chamber for you and your ilk, and you thought that was the way the vast majority of individuals believed. And then Twitter gets bought out, and then Twitter becomes X. Twitter transitions, which you would think you would be all for. Twitter does this little transition, and now you start to see, hey, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of folks who reject this premise, and not just a lot of angry white dudes, as you so want to call them in your posts here, but again, women, people of color, the whole nine. We see your agenda, and we're rejecting it, and you can see that in the games industry as well, considering how many developers being laid off. Over 100, what is it? We're up to 18,000 layoffs in the last 15 months. That's quite a bit of layoffs. We're seeing sales for games go down. Even Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't hit sales projections in its home country of Japan. That says a lot about what people think of modern gaming, and yet you, with your whole white dude complaining tweet, you were the one that was working on Star Wars Outlaws, and it makes you wonder, okay, that's pretty obvious as to why they made her an incredibly unattractive buffoon now, when again, this beautiful woman was the model. Loved it if you say you're trying to be more body positive. White men assume that you're saying you're fat and tell you to go to the gym. Bitch, I'm size 12. Being body positive has nothing to do with weight. everyone, when they talk about body positivity, uses it in regards to weight. That is what the vast majority of individuals assume. Also, why is it just like, you got out white men for being like, white men think that body positivity talks about being fat? Like, Asians are notoriously tiny, they're perceived as notoriously tiny by the vast majority of the world. I could be wrong, but if you put together, if you went out and found yourself a relatively fit, in-shape Asian dude, probably knows Kung Fu, and you tried to hook him up with a 400-pound Western American whale, he's probably gonna have some issues with the body positivity movement. At the end of the day, guys, this is what we're referring to when we talk about beautiful women in gaming, and really just because it's only happening to women. You gotta remember, when they did Cal Kestis, Cameron Monaghan, they very, very accurately portrayed his model to his face, and they made him just as good looking in the game as he is in real life. Why is it only happening to women? It's because everyone wants to talk about these targeted harassment campaigns. Well, there are campaigns against women. There's a campaign against the feminine form in gaming, and you want to know where it's coming from? It's coming from woke, liberal, white women who cannot stand that they let you look better than them. But yeah, those are my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, you can find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news almost every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Got a second video coming out later about Tomb Raider, so at 2 p.m. Central Time. Don't miss that. Hit that button. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You could join the growing, thriving Vital Idols community with over 50 members at this point. Get in on the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, submit requests for me to react to on my channel, and by all means use discount code VITALIDOL for money off shirts or a mug, any sort of merch that you would like to purchase. And remember, until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.